All right, we're going to use symmetry today, and we're going to start by folding our paper in half vertically, the tall way, and just giving it a gentle bend. So when I open it, I can see the center of my paper. Now I have a photo of 1/2 of a beetle. You're going to line it up along that fold line you made. And what you want to do is complete the other half, trying your best to make it symmetrical. We're going to start today in pencil. So I'm making a pencil drawing. I see the eye there. This side has an antenna, and that antenna has smaller parts. It's a little tricky for you to see the lines I'm making, but in a minute we'll go ahead and do this in pastel. So I'm gonna keep working like this until I have exactly 1/2 of my beetle. Right, now I have about half of my beetle, and I'm gonna take that picture off. And I'm gonna take a black oil pastel, and I wanna push pretty hard because I'm gonna use this for a transfer. But I'm tracing over those lines I made. I'm going around, and again, pressing hard. I'm going to fold my paper in half in a minute, and that pastel will transfer or kind of blend and smear onto the other side. I want that. I'm creating a piece of art that is symmetrically balanced. That means it's the same on both sides. And using this technique here will ensure that my artwork is actually symmetrically balanced. So balance in art is just that the sides of the paper or sculpture have equal weight. So now half of my drawing is done. I'm gonna fold my paper along that line I made. And I want to apply quite a lot of pressure to the spot where I did my drawing. I'm going to use a tool here. I'm going to take a pair of scissors and just make sure that I really press quite hard. You obviously don't want to rip your paper, but you do want to apply a good amount of pressure and all over so you don't miss anything. And now when I open, you can see I have almost like a dotted line. It's not complete, it's not exactly transferred. But I have enough that I can take my pastel and trace over it and get that general idea of what the bug looked like. And my paper at that point will be balanced symmetrically, meaning that it will have the exact same on both sides. Now that I have my drawing complete, I'm gonna look at an actual color photo of my insect and start applying color. We're going to be using chalk pastels. Chalk pastels are good for blending, and they also create contrast. Contrast is when something bright or light is next to something dark on this gray piece of paper we're using. So I'm going to fill in this red part of my insect because you can see in this picture it's sort of this reddish orange color. And the nice thing about this is if you put colors that look good blended together. So for example, red and yellow, I know that makes orange. And if I put them near one another like they are in that bug and blend with my finger, I get this gradual fade. It's not red next to yellow, it's red that fades into yellow. And I'm really creating a new color there. Now, if you're not sure what colors look nice blended together, think about the color wheel. Colors that are near one another, like red, orange, and yellow, tend to look nice blended together. You can also think about warm and cool colors. Generally speaking, warm colors look good blended with warm colors, and cool colors look good blended with cool colors. Again, if you're not sure, just ask. Now my insect has a little bit of green on it. Now yellow is a warm color and green is a cool color, but they are next door neighbors on the color wheel. So they still will look good blended together. So I'm adding some of this green along the sides, and I'm gonna keep working like that until my insect is full and I have a lot of beautiful color blending. When in doubt, blend colors that are neighbors on the rainbow. So if you're not sure what red looks good next to, a good bet is orange, because red and orange are next door neighbors in the rainbow and on the color wheel. So that's a simple way to do it if you're not totally sure. Another simple way is ask me. I'm happy to tell you what would look nice blended together. Now I'm going to time lapse us here so I can finish drawing or coloring this bug. So I'm almost done filling in my color on my bug, but I wanted to show you something that I see someone do every single year that they're always disappointed that they did, which is you'll see that I'm blending within a shape, or I'm blending with my finger with two colors that I know are going to look good blended together. But every year someone goes like that. And it really destroys all that beautiful work and time I spent. When you're blending, you need to be thoughtful about your blending and only blend within that specific shape, because otherwise all you're going to do is take all that beautiful work and turn it brown or gray and really make it look kind of muddy and messy. So I am blending, but I'm blending thoughtfully. I'm not just smearing chalk all over my paper. You'll also notice that as I'm using the chalk, I'm putting it back where I got it. So for example, I got the green there, I'm putting it back there. So you can tell I tried to fix it, but I really couldn't fix it completely. 1 minute of that careless smearing all over really kind of does some damage, and we can try to fix it, but it'll never turn out quite as nice as it would have been before. So just be thoughtful about your blending. The next step is going to be to add contrast. And contrast is, again, when you add something light next to something dark, and we're gonna do that in our background. We're also gonna create rhythm and movement around our paper. And so we're gonna get contrast by using a white oil pastel. And as I'm working today, I wanna stay off of my chalk drawing, so just kind of watch where your hand is. I mentioned that we're going to be using rhythm. Rhythm has a lot to do with pattern in art. Think about tempo, like in music. Lines that are dense and close will have a faster tempo. So this one here is a pretty quick tempo. You can see that my line's moving up and down. You'll also notice that I am making my paper symmetrically balanced, and that I made that line on one side, and now I'm trying to make almost the same line on the other side. Of course, it's not going to be exactly perfect. It can't be. But I'm trying my best. And right in between those legs here, I'm doing the same kind of zigzag. And I'm creating a rhythm in my artwork. The people's eyes are moving around because I have these patterns. So it's really related to music in this way, that each line or shape kind of represents a drum beat or a note. And the more of that I have, the more rhythm and movement I'm creating in my art. The viewer's gonna spend a little bit longer looking at my piece because it does have an upbeat or fast rhythm. So if each of these were a drum beat, boom, 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 boom. So it's a pretty upbeat piece of art. Now I'm gonna time lapse you and finish this up, and then I'll show you my finished result. All right, guys, now my piece is finished, and you can see it's got a lot of rhythm going on. Imagine all the drum beats that would be happening if this piece of art were a piece of music. I also have a lot of contrast in different ways. I have black next to white. I have this kind of blended, smooth line next to these lines that are really sharp. So my piece is balanced, it has contrast, and it has a boatload of rhythm.